Peggy 7.
Hello and welcome to the Dead Hungry Diner Zen Master's Guide. In this video we'll be showing you 7 different ways to improve your score. First up, we have an advanced usage of the teleport spell. If you're a player who's skilled enough to queue up several different actions before your character can get there, one of the techniques you can use is to press the teleport button when you have a sufficient amount of actions queued up. This means that your character will process the remaining actions that are in the queue in a very quick manner, freeing up your mouse cursor to perform other actions while your character is processing the queue. The next tip we'll be looking at is how to use table swap to fix incorrect placements. It's a very simple idea, but maybe not everyone has thought about using table swap on a table that doesn't actually have a character. So in this example, we've placed a solo vampire at a two-seater table. This can be easily fixed by just using the table swap to move the single vampire back to a single table, freeing up the double table and ultimately preventing you from having the problem with the rest of the queue. Moving on to the third tip now, we're going to talk about using placement patterns to avoid monsters breaking out into fights. So in this first example we can see that we've gone for a diagonal pattern. That means that the monsters that hate each other, such as the banshees hating the ogres, are diagonally positioned from each other, because the way the game works is that they'll only break out into fights if they're adjacent. In the second example we've gone for a slightly different approach. In this case we've used the zombies as a buffer to keep the hating parties apart from each other. This can be useful in certain levels, but it can be more restrictive than the diagonal approach. However, on the plus side, it is more simple to execute. The next tip we'll be looking at is how to maximize your patience spell by shuffling the queue around to suit your needs. In this example, you can see that both the angry zombies and the normal zombies in the queue, both groups of 3, both need a certain amount of patience. It's very simple. All I've done is swap the zombies over to the same side of the queue, and that way the patience spell will affect both of the characters. The next one requires a little bit of thinking out of the box here, and again it's something you probably might not have thought of, but it's quite simple. You can actually table swap empty tables to switch the runners around. That way you can have more freedom in your character placement without losing your bonuses. The second last tip is very difficult to pull off in game, but if done correctly it can really save you from terrible situations. When processing orders, a lot of people will think that the orders must be processed in the same manner in which they were received. In this case, that the zombie and the vampire should get served first. But I want to place down these 2 vampires down from the bottom. So in this case I know that the vampires and the werewolves will immediately start the aggro. But because I already have a size 1 portion in my hand, I can immediately feed the werewolf. And then I can go back to processing the queue as normal. Okay, now moving on to our final tip. This one is impossible to represent via footage because it talks about the underlying score mechanics of the game. But on every level there's a more difficult rating to achieve, the master rating. The key to achieving a master rating is 2 things. Firstly, you must always try and maximize your table runner bonus. This means placing zombies on other zombie tables up until the point where you've got a chain of 3. Try not to lose these bonuses, although some levels may force you to do so. The next aspect is always to process your queues as chains. This way you'll maximize the amount of points you get per wave. And it should go without saying that losing any characters in the duration of a level will ultimately result in you not being able to achieve a master rating. So those are our 7 tips to improve your gameplay in Dead Hungry Diner. Please be sure to check us out on Facebook and Twitter if you'd like to know more about the game and stay up to date with news, patch notes and other items. Thank you.